Days have gone by. Weeks also have gone by in terms of what happened in the final of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Yes, it was mad with some sort of, disturbances from the players, the coaches, and of course, antics being displayed by, allegedly the host, and of course, also some incidents of, fans clashing, amongst themselves. And finally, the CAF Disciplinary Board has handed down heavy sanctions to Senegal and Morocco following incidents during the 2025 African Cup of Nations final. Now, Senegal head coach Pape Thiaw was suspended for 5 CAF matches and fined $100,000, while players like Iliman, Ndiaye, and Ismaila Sarr received 2 match bans each for misconduct towards officials. Now, the Senegalese FA was fined a total of $615,000 for crowd trouble, player and staff misconduct, and multiple cautions. Now, let's go straight to the Morocco Football Federation. The player, Achraf Hakimi, received a 2-match ban with 1 suspended, while Ismael Saibari was banned for 3 matches and fined $100,000. Now, the Moroccan FA was fined $315,000 for ballboy misconduct, amongst others, VAR area invasion, laser used by fans, and CAF also dismissed Morocco's protest against Senegal to withdraw the trophy from Senegal. So that has been, that has not been, agreed on by CAF, and it still stands that Senegal are champions of Africa. But if you look at it on screen, you can see the breakdown of the sanctions and, of course, decision by the CAF Disciplinary Committee who sat. And we also hear that a meeting was, called for both countries, and the meeting lasted for hours. So you can bring your defense and also, counter each other. But at the end of the day, a verdict has been made. Now, joining us to look at this verdict, the result, the outcome, and what he might do to African football is a sports journalist who, of course, was in Morocco during the Africa Cup of Nations. Toyosi Afolayan joins us this afternoon. Toyosi, thank you very much for staying put. Welcome to In the Game.
Hi, people. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers at home.
All right, Toyosi, before this verdict came out, we've had talks around what could be the possible punishment by CAF to, Senegal, to Morocco. Talks, even some had to go with, maybe Senegal should be banned from the World Cup. Different kind of talks were going left, right, center. But finally, we have a verdict at the moment. Senegal getting the most in terms of, punishment, while Morocco also got, but not as much when you look at the financial aspect and also individual aspect. But what do you make of this verdict? Do you think it was spot on by CAF, or you feel it could have been better?
Well, I think the biggest winner in this situation is Senegal, because if you're looking at the monetary sanctions that were given to them, you look at it that, okay, they've made enough money and they have more than enough, to settle the financial sanctions that have been given to them by CAF. Because if they had not acted in such manner or tried to, scatter the whole thing itself, they might have not gotten into this kind of situation. They might have not even won the trophy. The final was a balanced game, but we could still see a little bit of bias towards how the referee decisions were. We saw how hostile the hosts were to the Senegalese fans, to even the players themselves. But one thing I'm really pretty much happy about is the fact that the decision to ban some players, to find some players, is quite balanced. Because it might be my thinking that only Senegal would have gotten the sanctions and everything, but the Moroccan FA also, they got some things, and they thought about dethroning Senegal or stripping them off their title is very, very, very bad. And I'm happy that CAF did not bow to the pressure, because we know how much CAF and the Moroccan FA are intertwined. They know how to work hand in hand to make sure that Morocco wins something.
But you know that, I'm sorry to cut you short now, Toyosi, that is not true. We can also say allegedly, because if CAF should come out and say, prove that we work hand in hand with Morocco, maybe we might not be able to prove that.
Yeah, fair enough. It's not exactly true, yeah? But there are conspiracy theories about that. And to be fair, I like the judgment that CAF has brought out. At least nobody would say that it's an unfair judgment.
All right, let me come to Toby. We understand Toby is back. Toby, welcome back. Looking at the verdict at the moment, you've just heard from Toyosi, saluting CAF for bringing out this punishment. Do you think that this will serve as a deterrent to other countries who might think that walking off a game is the ideal thing to do? Do you think the punishment is enough for both sides, or you feel it could have been more?
Well, yes. Hello, JSC, and it's good to be back once again. Now, the truth is that CAF, they had to make a statement, and a statement was what they did in terms of those financial and even administrative sanctions given to Morocco and the host, and even Senegal. And in my opinion, I feel the sanctions to both sides was quite hefty. And but just as Toyosi also opined, it was good that CAF didn't bow to the pressure of stripping Senegal off the title, because it will set a dangerous precedent. Imagine having a champion for the African Cup of Nations being settled in the boardroom. So everything started and ended on the field of play. I also feel that it will also be at the back. It will be at the back of the mind of several other individuals on the continent of Africa that, irrespective of what happens, you have no right to walk off the field of play, because it's also like bringing the game to disrepute. And I also feel CAF too must also be firm on hosts who want to win at all costs. We saw lasers being used, though there was a $15,000 fine slammed on Moroccan fans for the usage of flashing of lasers in that match. And I hope there will be no repeat of that at the AFCON, that's the Women African Cup of Nations, which Morocco too will be hosting very, very soon. One way or the other, I think it's a fair judgment, and we hope this would not raise ugly head, because as beautiful as the AFCON was, that was a sore point of the 35th Total African Cup of Nations.
All right, let me come to Toyosi now. Toyosi, when you look at the fines, I mean, some countries, or maybe you look at what Morocco or Senegal, the fines they've gotten, some countries might say, well, if it's fines, we have the money to pay. What happens then? I mean, when some players feel we have the money, I mean, let's just do what we want to do, and then we go on to pay these fines, and then, at the end of the day, whatever they've planned or want to do, they achieve it at the end of the day. So what happens in such situations? Because we've seen some clubs consistently break some of these rules in Africa, and at the end of the day, they're given fines, and after the fines, nothing happens next.
Well, I'm happy that it's not just fines that are being dished out this time around. We see suspensions. And the only part that we might say that CAF had to do the right thing was where they did not extend the ban to the FIFA World Cup. Some players, like the Senegalese, the Moroccan players, they're only going to be banned in CAF games. So I think what needs to be done next is, this is like a first offender kind of situation. The second time it repeats itself with same certain set of players and the same nation, then we know that there will be more hard kind of punishment for them. But now, fines and suspensions are the only way to go. Maybe when it happens again, it becomes something perpetual from each nation, then we begin to see how hard punishments can be brought in. Maybe like you ban the nation for about 2 or 3 years. So that's just what we need to do.
All right, interesting times ahead. And Toby, before we wrap up this conversation, Senegal got more of the fines when it comes to the amount, $415,000 in total for the Moroccans. And the aspect of the interpretations of this fine, you think justice was served in interpretation of each of these fines and the accounts at which CAF has come out to say, oh, security-wise, lasers, what Achraf Hakimi did, Saibari also, and then other players of Senegal?
Well, it's subjective. Justice can be subjective, but was there judgment? Yes, there was a judgment, and I feel irrespective of the divide where you find yourself, the Senegalese, the Moroccan, or even if one is a neutral observer, I think this should settle this once and for all, because even since the completion or the conclusion of the African Cup of Nations, we are still making reference to this. And since CAF, they finally given a statement, we hope this will be definitive and this will finally lay this matter to rest.
All right. Thank you very much, Toyosi Afolayan, for your quality time. We look forward to an exciting time again with you on the show. Thank you very much for joining.